don't know how much you guys can actually hear on this, but I got severe thunderstorms rolling in left and right and just south of me. So you're just gonna have to excuse me if I rush through this video because I'm actually under a little tent and I want to try to get this thing put up before it actually starts to really come down on me. It's been off and on for about 30 minutes. Vortex Venom 5 to 25, 34 millimeter tube, 56 millimeter objective, exposed turrets, under $500. And when I opened up the box, I said, how in the hell are you selling this for under $500? I just think it's a great piece of glass, a great scope. But they have the Strike Eagle. I've been seeing the comments. I'm listening to what these people are saying, right? And well, it must be cheap glass, just a knockoff Strike Eagle. How does it pair up to a Razor? What can you do a comparison with the PST? I don't know if you guys can hear that water running off of this thing. Guys, this isn't. They didn't release this scope to compete with other optics that they have. If you want illumination and locking turrets, you have the Strike Eagle and you have the PST and of course the Razors and other options. It just depends on how much you want to spend. Not everybody out there is willing to drop $700, $1,000, $2,000, sometimes $3,000 on optics, especially when you're experimenting, you're learning for the first time. You just want a good, decent scope for hunting. There's just so many different reasons why you would want a scope in this price range. Again, if it's not for you, it's going to be for somebody else. It's going to be for somebody else. And I think this is great, man, especially for guys that are doing any type of rimfire competition. You want to learn how to shoot long range. This is a great starter scope right here, and I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm shooting extremely well with it. I've actually hunted with it, and it's not going to stay permanently on this rig because I'm going to put a thermal back on this bolt action, but it's a good rifle to shoot off of, and I just said, you know what, it'd be good to throw it on this 6.5 and show people what it can do. I'm going out to 300 yards right now. I can shoot a lot further than that out here, but unfortunately I have animals and the terrain is not going to let me do it this time of the year because of the grass. So it's really hard to see 700, 800 yards. So we're just going to go out to 300 yards here. I'm just going to take 3 shots. Ammunition is something that you really don't want to be burning through. I just shared some footage through the spotting scope. I'm just rushing it. I'm just trying to get some shots out there. I'm not trying to get any precise grouping, but visibility is extremely well. Let's go ahead and send some rounds down range and then we'll talk a little bit more about the scope. Great scope, man. Great scope. I was going to move, but I'm just going to stay here and ride out this storm. I'm going to put this tent up here as soon as I can. Guys, again, I think this is a great buy. I see it all the time, especially in the comment section, in the DMs on IG, and over here on YouTube. Everybody's wanting to know a good scope, good rifle, etc. And I don't want to see people experimenting when you're trying to do any type of mid-range and long-range shooting. It can get really expensive when you're experimenting. There's nothing wrong with starting out on the low side with a factory production rifle. I'm not going to say really cheap glass, but get you something in between, which I think this scope is in between really cheap and the expensive stuff. So you're right in the middle. They got a great lifetime warranty. I'm a huge fan of 34 millimeter tubes. I've been behind 1 inch. I've been behind the 30s, and there's just something about 34s that just catches my attention. I love them. I love them. And when I noticed this was a 34, that made me grin immediately. The turrets are extremely positive. They don't click like the Razor. The Razor is very, very defined when you start turning the turrets. I don't know if you can hear that. It clicks, but it's a softer click, okay? Not a complaint, not a complaint. It's nothing that bothers me. I know that this is mainly gonna be a day rig, and no lock-in turrets is not a deal breaker. Again, if you want lock-in turrets, there's other options out there from Vortex with lock-in turrets. The illumination is something that I rarely use. The only time I really use illumination is on my Vortex Razor 1-6 or on my 1-10. But believe it or not, even at nighttime with night vision devices clipped on in the front, I don't use illumination. It almost gets in the way sometimes. It has its place, especially with low light conditions, or even if it's really bright during the day, you just want something. Not bright during the day, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a good option to have. But again, if you want that, there's other scopes out there, you know. There's a lot of people also that have multiple guns. Not everybody is gonna have $1,000, $2,000 scope on every single rig that they own. There's guys out there that own multiple bolt guns and long guns, you know, and it's really hard to try to outfit each rifle with an expensive piece of glass, you know. It's a great scope, guys, and I really don't have anything negative to say about it. I know people want to find something, but there's really nothing to complain about here because they made a budget scope that's going to be able to fit the bill for a lot of people. Whoa, that is getting close. It does come with a throw lever, which I thought was cool. Throw levers can be a pain in the butt to find, and I think that's great. $500 scope with a throw lever, that's a huge plus. It does not come with rings. These are Vortex rings. They're a little high. These are actually the highest rings you can get from Vortex because I run night vision devices on this rig in the front. We're gonna be doing another video here pretty soon about clip-on devices. It's something that I've been going back and forth with for a few years now, and I had an experience just recently with the PVS 26, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. And I ended up missing a coyote, multiple coyotes 4 times in 2 nights. And it's something that needs to be talked about. There's ways to adjust to clip-ons, but people need to understand that you just can't throw an optic in front of a day optic and think it's going to be perfect, you know, especially when you're trying to stretch the legs at nighttime. But that's a different conversation. I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Again, I really do like this scope. The lock-in turrets, it comes with RevStop. So what we will do, and I'll do it real quick on this rig, so just have a little patience with me. Have a little patience with me. So we got, let me zero back here. All right, so we got the main cap off, okay? And we will remove the turret without turning it, okay? Straight up. And here's the RevStop. It's a ring. It's a ring. And you're gonna turn it clockwise. So you'll set it on here and you'll rotate it clockwise until it stops. It stopped really early because I dropped it in there just right. But if you turn it until it stops, that's your stop right there. You'll put it back on, back to where your 0 was. And then you'll tighten up your cap without well, you can move it now that you have your 0 set, but I still like to keep everything nice and tight there. You really don't need this tool to tighten this up, but just a little bit. You just want to get it nice and snug. And then it will turn about 0.5 mils. About 0.5, it will turn over, and then you can just go back to your 0. It won't stop on that true 0. It will just go past 0.5, and then you can go right back to your 0. But it does track well. That's something that I do a lot before I get a scope out in the field and hunting and shooting. I like to play with the turrets, move it back and forth, and just see if my 0 goes back to where it needs to be. And I guarantee I can send it down there right now, even though I did that, and still get a good headshot at 300 yards. Again, you know, I know there's a lot of professional videos out there where guys getting really technical and a lot of information. I mean, a lot of the basic information on these scopes, you can just Google it and it's there. I just love to share that in the field, you know, kind of firsthand experience. I consider myself an amateur, just like a lot of you guys here on YouTube. I have my trial and errors, you know, and I have my misses, I have my fails, I have I have things that break, you know, and you know, I'm no different than you are. All right. So I'm just trying to give you guys some honest feedback on the gear that I use. And I think you guys are going to see a lot more video on this. I'm going to be talking a lot more about a lot of the gear that I have. Also, some people have been asking what's the device that I have on my bolt gun. We're going to be talking about pointers and floods as well. That's what that is. It's a PEC 15. It has a flood and a pointer on it, but that's another video we can talk about. So again, I just wanted to talk about the Vortex Venom. I just want to say personally to the guys over at Vortex, I think you guys did a really good job with this scope. Again, it's helping people out get into this game, you know. How many times have you been out looking for scopes? You want to have a really nice scope on your gun, and you got to break the bank. Sometimes the scope costs more than your gun. And I have to be honest with you. When I get behind this thing, I don't see a difference between the glass with the Strike Eagle. I don't see a difference with this glass and the glass behind the PST Gen 2. I have a PST Gen 2, 2-10. I have a PST Gen 2, 1-6. I have a Vortex Razor, 1-6. I have a Razor 3-18. I have a Razor 4.5-27. I got Vortex glass, and I can tell you right now, I personally do not feel like they cut any corners with the glass on the Venom. It's just as clear. It's just as clear as all the other scopes that I have. I'm not going to lie. The Vortex Razors are extremely clear, and the field of view is bigger. Even with the 4.5-27, the 3-18, the 1-6, and the 1-10, the field of view is massive on those scopes, and I absolutely love shooting them. The field of view is not so big on the Venom. It's very similar to what you're going to experience out of a PST or a you got the PST in the Strike Eagle. I'm sorry. But again, guys, I just wanted to give you my firsthand feedback on this scope. I think it's a great scope, great buy, under $500. You can't beat it. The only issue right now is just getting your hands on that stuff, is getting your hands on this stuff. So we'll do some more video. I'll get some other videos going up real soon. We got the new grind hard ammunition, the 131s. We're gonna be running this on some hogs. I've killed a coyote this week with it, and the results was devastating. A lot worse than what I was seeing with the 122s. These are 131s from grind hard ammunition. The rain is here and it's coming down. I gotta go, guys. If you guys like what you see, please hit the like button, get the subs going, get the notifications going, and I'll see you guys in the next video.